Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Annabelle Baldi from BioBuzz, and I'm very excited to have you guys all here for another one of our Career Catalyst sessions as part of our ongoing Career Catalyst and Community Office Hour series. So, as some of you know, these are weekly sessions designed to help connect you directly with industry experts who can share some actionable insights to help you navigate and grow your career. And today, we're going to have a topic that's pretty practical. We have Mohamed Swaraldahab, who will show you how non-traditional ways can open doors that you may have never imagined. So he's going to share some real-world examples, share some hands-on guidance that's going to help you uncover some of those biotech roles, explore customer-facing career paths like field application specialists, and help you kind of map your strengths to opportunities beyond the bench. Before we do get started, I hand it over to Mohamed. I do want to give a big thank you to Biotech, as always, for sponsoring today's session. They have over 30 years of experience and have trained over 17,000 scientists. So if you're interested in upskilling, would highly recommend checking them out at biotech.com. They are very well regarded in biotech, so definitely look them up. And I also want to mention that today's session is part of the BioBuzz Talent Lab. So if you're not already, I would highly recommend joining the MVP, the beta testing of the Talent Lab, to access more resources like this. All right, so I'm going to hand over Mohamed. The floor is yours.
Can everybody see me? Sorry, I'm having a little bit of a technical difficulty. So, thank you so much, Annabelle, for the wonderful introduction. I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Mo. And today I'm going to go and share my journey to becoming a field application specialist, the skills, the pivots, the moments that really shaped me. One of the core things that we really want to talk about is what it is that shapes what becoming a field application specialist is. And let me see here. There we go. So this isn't just going to be a biography, right? It's about how professionals can stand out and how to navigate a tough job market in life sciences without losing their confidence or their identity. Because right now, I know things are heavy. There is uncertainty, there is competition, layoffs, shifting expectations. So I want this to be insightful, I want this to be memorable, and I really want this to be real. And by the end, I want you walking out of here saying something practical, like a way to look at your career and say, I'm not stuck, but I'm building. So let's get into it. So my journey to becoming a field application specialist, I've spent over a decade in advanced laboratory techniques and technologies. And early on, I thought that meant my value was simply what I can do with my hands. But over time, I realized something bigger. Technical skills get you in the room, but what makes you irreplaceable is how you think when things don't go as planned. Because in real labs, real companies, things break, data surprises you, timelines shift, and people who rise are the ones who can troubleshoot, who can communicate clearly, and can keep moving forward without panic. That's really the theme of my career. It's been complex problems, high standards, and real outcomes. So I want to first start off with the professional roles that I've held, and I want to start off with manager of field application team. As manager of the field application team, my job isn't to know everything. My job is to build an environment where smart people can win. That means making sure technologies are applied correctly, supporting the team in the field, and helping customers get from confusion to confidence. Leadership to me is very scientific. You observe, you diagnose, you test, you measure, and you improve. And when done right, your team becomes a product of your leadership. Prior to becoming a manager, I was a senior field application specialist. As a senior field application specialist, you become the bridge. You're translating advanced science into results that customers can reproduce. This isn't just training. This is understanding real-world workflows, aligning technology with customer missions, and teaching in a way that sticks under pressure. If you're someone who loves science and people, This is a powerful link. Prior to this, I was a laboratory consultant. Consultant taught me something important. A lab is not flow, design, procurement, compliance, and systems, right? A lab really goes beyond that. So beyond being a lab that's just flow, design, procurement, compliance, and systems, one of the things that you have to understand is a laboratory consultant, your value becomes your ability to see the whole picture. What slows down quality? What creates risk? What creates scale? And if you enjoy optimization more than repetition, this is the place where you can really thrive. Prior to that, I was a board certified medical laboratory scientist and forensic scientist. Being board certified and working in forensic science really teaches you humility because the stakes are real. You learn discipline, your controls matter, your documentation matters, your chain of custody matters. And also, you learn how to stay calm when outcomes matter to human lives. That mindset, that seriousness, the precision translated directly into industry to success for me personally. And prior to that, I was an adjunct professor teaching forensic science at George Mason University. Teaching changed my career because when you teach, you stop hiding behind the jargon. You learn how to explain complicated concepts simply, and that skill is, to me, career currency. If you want a cheat code for growth, become the person who can make complexity feel understandable. And that's, to me, what leaders do. That's what mentors do. And that's what top performers do. So that's just a little bit of, bragging about what I've done over the years. But what I want to talk about is what I do today, which is empowering clients with QIAGEN sample to insight. Now, this is personal. As a manager of what I truly believe is one of the most elite, highest performing field application teams in biotech, I get to work alongside brilliant people who care deeply. And our mission is really simple. Empower clients from sample to insight, not just by selling technology, but by tailoring solutions so customers can actually succeed. Because success isn't the instrument. Success is the breakthroughs, the publication, the clinical decision, the product launch, the patient impact, and we're proud to be a part of that chain. So now that I kind of gave you a little bit of a hint of what we do on the daily level, I want to talk about understanding traditional roles or non-traditional roles, but I want to go over traditional paths because traditional paths matter. They're valuable from R&D and discovery, right? A lot of you here are there, to assay and method development. I know a couple of yours as well. Translational and preclinical for developing new therapies. And finally, we have our quality assurance systems. So before I move on to the next segment, I just want you to know that these pathways are what built the industry. But here's the truth. A lot of people are trying to squeeze themselves into one of these lanes when their strengths are actually meant to serve the industry in really a different way. So I don't want you to abandon traditional pathways. I want you to stop believing that they're the only ones that you can pursue. So what I want you to do is we're going to go over examples of non-traditional roles. So I want to talk about non-traditional. Non-traditional roles aren't second choices. They're not plan B. They're roles where your scientific thinking shows up differently. For example, you have technical sales, regulatory affairs, data analysis, project management. So what do these have in common? They build science with teamwork, communication, strategy, and influence. Here's the benefit of expanding the job description. You don't just get the job, you get the role where you can innovate, adapt, and make an impact. And in today's market, adaptability is not optional. It is survival, and it's an advantage. Right? So we want to expand, expand, expand. Step outside your bubble and let's have a conversation. So career opportunities that deviate from traditional roles, what are some of the opportunities that really deviate from that? And that's where I come in, right? So I want you to embrace non-traditional roles in life sciences because it really is a rewarding career. These roles just so that you guys can understand what these titles are and what to look for when you're considering or applying for these roles, is instrument sales manager, customer solution manager, inside sales, field application specialist, our awesome field service engineers, and our global product support. So these roles, they're not any less scientific. They are science operating at the point of impact, where you have customer adoption, reliability, scale, strategy, success. If you like connecting people with solutions, if you want to influence outcomes beyond the bench, these paths can deeply be rewarding. Which moves me to my next point. How do you connect to this part, which is the importance of networking? Let's make networking feel normal. Networking is not begging. Networking is building relationships before you need them. 3 simple principles. You want to build meaningful relationships. You want to leverage them for opportunities ethically and show up at events and communities like this one. And here's the reframe. Here's how I want you to reframe it. Your next opportunity might not come from your resume. It might come from your reputation, right? And the connections that you make. So let's step back and look at some of the statistics before we jump in onto the next step. So these stats paint a picture, all right? And these are real world stats from the Department of Labor. Job openings were unchanged at 7.7 million in October. These are the most recent stats that were reported for biotech. 31% of jobs openings are filled through networking. That is a reality. If you don't know someone, your chances literally just drop by 31%. 39% of workers' core skills are expected to change, especially with machine learning on the rise and AI being adopted by the billions of dollars into biotech. 75% of the organizations claim that they struggle to fill roles because of lack of soft skills. And as a manager who has interviewed a lot of candidates, we need to sit down and have a talk about the importance of soft skills. And 96% of HR leaders say culture fit is crucial, right? If you don't fit the mold, no matter how brilliant you are, a institution or an organization or a group of people are not willing to accept you. And understanding the culture of what you're trying to enter and you're trying to penetrate is really key to getting into those industries. 21% of growth in roles within life science companies is happening right now. So contrary to belief, yes, the world is on fire. People can't find jobs. Well, this is an opportunity for you to retool. And here's the message that I want you to take out of this. Technical skills matter from the statistics that we just looked at, but communicating, being adaptable, and culture fit are really becoming the deciding factors. So the question becomes, how do you build a career plan that wins in reality? So let's navigate your career path. Here's a structured approach. It's simple but powerful. The first thing I want you to do is define your objective. Not, I want a job, but I want this kind of role in this kind of environment for this reason. Analyze the landscape, learn the rules, learn companies, learn the language. Build a skill acquisition plan. Just like I said before, technical skills plus soft skills, and you need to roadmap that. Network effectively, not with desperation, but with curiosity and with intention. And evaluate and adapt, because the market changes and you will too, I promise you. This is how you stay in control, even when the world feels uncertain. And that's why we are here to help, and that's why I am here to help. So let's talk about building technical skills for success, okay? One of the most important things that you have to understand is don't treat learning like a vague wish, okay? That's very, very important. I want that to sink in. I want you to be able to use resources, online courses, webinars, certifications, mentorship, and really here's the key. So Don't just learn, demonstrate. Build small proof points, a project, a case study, a portfolio, a presentation, a volunteer role, because evidence beats intention every time. Now, the most important thing is finding supportive programs. Now, especially when times are tough, you need support, mentorship programs, skill development resources, workshops, industry platforms, local career groups, because isolation makes the uncertainty really sound louder. Community makes your next steps clearer. And if you don't have a mentor yet, I want you to listen. You don't need a perfect mentor. You need a person who's 1 or 2 steps ahead of you and willing to tell you the truth with kindness. The power of reinvention. Again, reinvention is not a betrayal of your past. Reinvention is loyalty to your future. In life science, change is constant. New tools, new priorities, new teams, new markets. So the people who thrive aren't the ones who never struggle. They're the ones who adapt without losing their core. Reinvention helps you discover strengths you didn't know you had. And sometimes it reveals that your next chapter isn't smaller, it's bigger. Okay? So stop trying to fit a square peg, right, in a round hole, whatever that the saying goes. And you just have to be malleable to your environment. You have to make sure that, hey, to say it's okay, listen, I know things aren't working out for me. What am I good at? Well, I'm a great speaker. I'm a people person. I like to connect with people. You know what? I would be really good at sales. What's wrong with that? We have some of the brightest minds, just to let you know, at QIAGEN, that are in sales, postdocs, PhDs, former physicians in different countries, right? People that really were knee deep in the sciences, including myself, okay? And they kind of took a step back and said, you know what? I'm really good at what I do. How can I pivot? How can I change? How can I reinvent who I am? And they've built careers out of that process that they've done. And it takes a certain amount of maturity to understand that I don't have to force myself in this. And I don't care if you've had 10, 15, 25 years, right, in cell and gene therapy. You've been making AAV products for Lord knows when. We've all been there, right? But understanding that, being able to have an open mind and switch, really, that's what separates people from other people, especially when challenges are happening. So here's a little inspirational quote. Here's what I want to leave you with. Challenges will come, especially in non-traditional paths. But the key to success is resilience. Your ability to adapt, to learn, and persist, that's what defines your path. And I want you to please remember, every step forward, no matter how small, is still a step forward. So if you're discouraged right now, you're not behind. You're in the process. And the process is where strong careers are built. Okay? A lot of the people that are on the call today, and thank you guys for joining, because I've met with you personally. And some of you have helped guide them towards different career paths. I always take the time out of my day to help all of the people that reach out to me on LinkedIn as much as I can. I know our schedules are busy, but that's what we are here to do. We're here to help, right? And part of that is, again, the people that I have been able to help, that my coworkers have been able to help, the people that are able to move on are people that start establishing these skills very early on in their journey, reaching out, saying, hey, Mo, I'm so-and-so. Is there a time that you can sit down with me and talk? Sure. There's a Saturday, you know what? I will wake up on Saturday morning and I will talk to you, because we need to make sure that you are on the right path. Because a lot of people feel stuck. They feel that they're not able to move. Their mind is wired in a certain way where they just don't understand or don't know what to search or what to look or who to talk to penetrate a specific industry or what to do. And really, that's part of today's lesson. Today's lesson is reach out without hesitation, right? Even if you're someone that is introverted by nature, you have to force yourself to get out of that bubble to help out people up. Because nowadays, the statistics show it. If you don't know someone and your name happens to fall in the thousands of resume pools that HR teams get throughout the country, then the likelihood of you being interviewed are probably very, very slim. However, people that proactively reached out during the interview process that were able to say, hey, I'm applying for this role, Mo. Can you spare, a couple of minutes to talk about the role? Sure thing. A lot of times people that were applying, I'll be like, you know what? I don't think really this is a good role for you, but have you thought about doing this? Right. So that conversation early on really helped someone navigate internally at QIAGEN. Just to give you an example, from joining a field application team to maybe moving on to a sales where they fit in and they were hired. And it was fantastic. In other industries, I've talked to someone that was working at QIAGEN a while back, and then we figured out that, he really loved real estate. And now he's one of the biggest real estate agents in New Jersey in the last 4 years. So it really shows you that pivoting, right, has no boundaries if you're willing to sit down and have the conversation. So in conclusion, right, just for our Q&A, I just want to talk about the things that we covered, right? I briefly spoke about my journey to becoming a field application specialist, why non-traditional roles are real opportunities, and why mentorship and networking are not optional anymore. You have to embrace reinvention. You have to commit to continuous learning and build your career like a scientist, where I always tell you, observe, hypothesize, test, and iterate. Again, thank you for giving me your time. I really appreciate it. I think we're at 20 minutes now, and I want to open the floor to having a meaningful discussion with the panel and with the audience. Thank you so much.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Mo. That was great. So today, like I said, we have a Q&A session. So we're kind of entering that portion at this point. So you guys can ask your questions 2 different ways. You can put it into the chat and I'll help moderate that, or you can use the raise hand function that's at the bottom of the screen with that hand emoji and get on and ask your question. I do want to start you off, Mohamed, with a question. So talking a lot about kind of like mentorship. I'd love to learn a little bit more, I think, about how mentorship plays a role in your personal career journey, and kind of how you found your mentors, how they kind of played a role in your career path.
That's an excellent question. So the first person that took a chance on me, and I still remember it till today, and I know a couple of the people that used to work with me are on the call, hopefully still. His name was John Prather. So John, if you're on the call, thank you so much. John took a chance at me way back in the day when I was at a company called Quest Diagnostics. Everybody knows Quest, right? And this was truly someone who, and the way I built that connection with him was because we came from the same alma mater, right? So we both were in the medical program in Inova Fairfax Hospital. And then I had switched gears and I went into the laboratory phase. And then, man, I was struggling for a job. It was tough. But at that time I became AAC certified and stuff like that. And then at the time, the organizer of the program introduced me to John. John was like, "Oh, yeah, he's part of our group. That's fine." And mind you, John had graduated from Fairfax Hospital back in the 70s, I believe, or something like that. So it was a very young program at the time. He took me under his wing. Started me off, showed me the bench, and at that time he became one of my biggest mentors and supporters. And then after that, very early on, that's what really drove me to seek out mentorship and seek out people that can really help me develop personally. So all I did was, any environment that I was in, I always put my pride on the side, right? And I never thought I was the smartest man in the room, that I was the best in whatever. I always thought that being humble in just pursuing someone's knowledge can take you a long way. And then after that, I was persuaded by my mentor again to say, "Hey, Mo, what do you like to do?" I was like, "Man, I would love to travel. I would love to also do science." He's like, "Well, have you talked to?" There was a gentleman from Roche, right? who was a field service engineer. They used to come to Quest all the time. And I talked to him and he said, man, this is the job. I get to travel, I get to do this. I'm in my 60s. I still love it. And I was like, oh, great. I would love to be an FAS. And then I applied to QIAGEN with the full intention. I understood the role from A to Z. And that's what it takes. Yeah, I understood the role. And I happened to run into who I consider still one of my best mentors by the name of Nina Spencer. Nina took me under her wing. She was managing the entire team at the time. And I learned the ropes from her, just how to lead, how to engage, how to really take that next level up into leadership when it comes into biotech. Now, remember, I used to teach at the university, right? Teaching is with a certain age group is very, very different than leading an industry. And it really takes a specific type of mentor to really rewire your brain so that you're able to work in that capacity. So mentorship, yes, I would not be here today if it wasn't for some of the key players in my life. So, yeah.